Right.
Oh. Whoa.
And then there were two.
And I looked in my side mirror and I could see my tyre was like almost on a 45 degree.
Yeah, the only reason we're sharing this is because every time we make a mistake, we like to show you guys what can happen.
G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of Explore Yarns, brought to you by Traveller.
Cheers.
So guys, 10 years of the Explore life. We thought, why not sit you down and not run you through our top 10 best moments, but let us know in the comments if you'd like to see that. But how about our top 10 biggest fails?
Yeah.
Over the past 10 years of touring throughout Australia and the world, we've made some pretty major.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
Team effort, major mistakes here, guys. From being offshore on the boats, nearly sinking, getting airborne, to cars catching on fire, pushing our gear to the absolute limits, rollovers, cars off mountains, you name it. So here we go. Welcome to the Explore Life and Explore Offshore's top 10 fails. Strap yourselves in. Well, here we go, guys. Just to kick it off, we're going to run through the offshore mistakes, right? So we've got airborne in a tinny and nearly losing it.
I'm glad I wasn't there
with
for that
the
one.
Birkenstein. We've got Cape York. We are sinking. You were.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh no, you weren't there for that one. WA.
That one.
Sinking.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Bit of a trend here. The TFI. Sinking. I don't know if we should actually go boating ever again. Right, so then we're going to go to our, we've got 6 off-road ones. We've got broken down in the middle of nowhere, absolute catastrophic fail. We've got my first rollover. We've got camera car flies off the mountain. not good. We've got Glasshouse Mountains, piss poor preparation prevents something or other.
Prior preparation prevents piss poor performance.
Yeah. Basically, we messed up real good and proper. We tried to save someone in the middle of nowhere and it nearly cost us our vehicle and probably one of the bigger recoveries we've ever done. And just to round things off, well, we set the car on fire.
Well, that's a new one.
Yes. So, stay tuned, guys. The Explore Life's fails. Let's rip in straight to, well, me and Berkey airborne. And I'm going to pull it up now so we can rewatch it. And it looks a little bit like this. Righto, well here we go, Nabs. We're up at a little spot called 5 Rocks, and what happened was, you see this tide running in, we actually got blocked by the tide, and we thought, well, we're not just going to sit here, let's have a bit of fun. We'll put the tinnies in, we'll run out this little creek, and we should be fine. So here goes Donnie, he's out first, Berkey is already upset. Listen to him.
No, I don't like that, bro.
How serious he is.
Donnie's got a bigger boat, bigger motor. So we start going. I don't think this is not a good idea, bro.
Go.
So never listen to Berkey, but my motor actually fails if you listen. So I shouldn't have waited for that one. And lean back. So right, where's the fail? You hear the motor conk out. Here we go, we're looking good here. And then right there, oh, the motor stalled on me and it just missed, it missed its foots.
You were completely covered.
I went completely underwater, yeah. I went completely.
Don't jump out.
Berkey's looking for an exit strategy.
Mate, no wonder what.
Oh, so, look, bit of credit to the Mako craft here. I'm not sure how it's, you know, that took a straight wave side on. We happen to have a GoPro on the front that captured all the audio somehow as well. Straight over the back. And basically we're just sitting ducks. Oh. Luckily it was shallow enough.
Berkey's out.
I managed to get it going just enough to putt. We nearly rolled it here. Oh, Berkey on the side with the save.
That probably was Berkey, hey?
Oh, yeah. So, guys, that was
It was about a week later I joined, wasn't it? Berkey stopped and I started.
yeah. So Berkey quit at that moment. Oh, look what happened there was the old two-stroke, guys. At the wrong time, it just revved out, and I misjudged the wave by this much. Also, Berkey made me so goddamn nervous. I had a clear
Fair
pathway.
enough.
We would have been fine, but we actually got away with that one. We were pretty lucky. I went all the way underwater. That's why the motor wouldn't start again, and then we were lucky the waves weren't just a little bit bigger. Otherwise, we would have got rolled. So what did we learn?
Don't listen to Matty.
Don't listen to Berkey.
How's it Berkey? He was saying from the start, not a good idea.
Exactly. He scared me. Hit things with confidence, guys. No. Look, we did learn that maybe you need to be a little bit more patient. We were young and very inexperienced. We've since learned how to read the ocean a little bit better. How, in those situations, the biggest bit of advice I can give you is if you're going to attempt something like this, really need to take your time and watch the sets. You can time the sets far better. We just got excited and just sort of
Time your sets.
went. So, firstly, when you're punching out through a bar, you should probably have life jackets on. That was a bit of a mistake. Once again, just too excited. You should pick your sets, and really, you probably shouldn't be punching out of a straight ocean swell without a gutter or some form of good exit strategy. But look,
So basically know what you're doing.
we got away with it. Berkey has, to this day, and we're going on 9 years later, he's never come boating with me since. Never. He's never returned. So give a big thumbs up in the comments for Berkey and let him know that you want to see him back on a boat with us. Let's take him out on the big boat.
5 rocks. Back to 5
Back to 5 rocks.
Redemption.
We'll have another go. Redemption. I've had better days in the office. Righto, now, not all the footage you're about to see actually made it into the episodes. Hey, mate.
Some definitely got cut out.
There's a reason we cut some of this, and the main one is, well, it's terribly irresponsible. And it's done now. We learned our lesson, but we didn't think it was probably setting the right example for some of our followers.
It's been declassified now. So
It's
we
been
can release it.
declassified, so stay tuned for some unseen footage. Okay, so this one, the Cape York Sinking. To give you an idea, guys, this is the same Tinny, but straight after that trip where me and Berkey got airborne, that motor got replaced. We went to a brand new 20 horsepower from Brisbane Marine. Now, on this little mission, Navsy, we were up at Cape and we wanted to go and actually see the site where Captain Cook landed. So the aim was to get around, and conditions were pretty good. There wasn't meant to be much wind that day. So we took out the 2 little tinnies. Story of our life. Not wind looks
right
good.
there.
So we come around and it's actually where Captain Cook come in and landed. He rocked up to Possession Island, he called it, and that's when he claimed the east coast of Australia and called it New South Wales. Yuck.
New South Wales.
Yuck.
God, what? There's a few New South Whalers out there.
Sorry, you cockroaches. So we went there, we checked it out, and then we're like, we may as well have a fish. Stopped in a little island that day, had a cold beer, and then as we come around the point, the current was absolutely thumping.
Ripping.
And the wind had started to blow up. Now, I couldn't even get on the plane to get around the corner. I had to turn around, go with the current, get on the plane, and then do the slowest turn ever back around just to be able to stay on the plane. And then, of course, when things go bad, they go worse.
Yes.
The fuel started playing up, so then we started going backwards.
What? It was cutting out on you?
It was cutting out on us, yeah. I don't know what was going on there. I think we'd had so much water come over the top. Maybe the little breather on top might have been open and it might have picked up a bit of water. Dino's there giving CPR to the fuel can, trying to prime it and push it through. We only just got out of that one. It took us a long time and we ran out of fuel like pretty much as we hit the beach.
South quick.
So look, that's probably one for tinny bashers is, one, you got to make sure you got all your safety gear, which we did. We also knew we were a short swim to land and we could literally walk back to where we're going. So even though it got really dangerous, at all times we had an exit plan, and reality was the exit plan was swim no more than 100 metres to the beach. Mind you, that current was ripping.
Yeah, ripping. You'd be sent. And there's crocodiles and sharks
Yeah, well, let's
You
not
know.
get into the technicals
and
here.
everything else that can eat you up there.
But we did have a second tinny.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
worst case, we could have turned around and got picked up by another tinny.
It's always that one little thing, though, that's the difference between life-threatening and, you know, you made it out, oh, it wasn't too bad, or one little thing different, and it
Yeah.
would have been disastrous.
And the next one is where we didn't have a backup tinny if we were to get in trouble. And I think on that day we may have pushed
Who was
things
that? You
a
and
little.
someone again? You and
you,
Berkey again?
you,
Not me?
mate, you. So let's rip into the next one. The next one is WA sinking.
Sinking.
Let's pull the video
I'm
up.
sinking.
And then there were two. One of them bites the dust. What happened there?
Old Anthony got a little bit seasick. He hasn't got his sea legs yet.
All right, guys. Navsy, run us through what was the plan for this day, because there was 3 in the boat to start the day.
Yeah, we did. Our plan was
Nav
to
catching
race-
seaweed.
Cut that one out. Was to run out and have a look. Right, we're on the bottom of Esperance there, head out. It's where all those big rocks are and great looking water. Windy, wind started to pick up. We had to then turn around and drop Anthony.
Shout out to Anthony,
Antonio
the
Banderas.
big girl. He got a little bit crook, and he's like, boys, you got to take me back. We'd already punched a fair way out at this point, so we're a little bit upset, but we turned around, we dropped him off like good mates, and then we punched. Now, there's a bit of a problem with me and Nav. If I say a bad idea, Nav goes, yeah, no, sounds good.
Sounds all right.
Do you reckon we should...
Manny knows what he's talking about. He's an expert, isn't he?
Do you reckon we should go to that next island, Nav? Yeah, sounds good. We get there, no fish. Nav goes, you reckon we should go to the next island? I'm like, yeah, sounds good. And at this stage, the wind really turned on us. And unfortunately, it's all been cut from the episode, like completely cut. We come back here like nothing's happened. The swell picked right up, and we basically said, oh, we almost went further, do you remember?
we were going to try and punch it out. We weren't catching that many fish, that's why.
Yeah.
We were still keen to try and get something for the bloody episode.
For some reason, we thought if we just go a little bit further, there'll be a fish
next rock.
there. The next rock. So we turned around and we started coming back, and it blew up real fast.
It just turned into like a washing machine. It was like chopped from all the big mountains that were out, the big rocks that were out there. It was like waves coming from, so it wasn't like just from the front. It was, they were coming over the back.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
We were copping waves over the front,
front.
waves over the back. We ended up having to sit pretty much both of us at the back to try and keep the nose of this boat up. And I was like just keeping us moving. Nabs is on the bucket.
Bail.
He is bailing slower than the amount of water coming in the boat. And at this point, we sort of looked at each other and went, we might have f***ed up here.
Yeah, we've got to make a call here. Like, you got to make the decision of when is the time to start thinking about what if. And that's when we started going, all right, what if it does get worse than this and things start to go bad? If we sink here, then we're going to aim for that big rock there and try and make it to that one. As we come to that one, it's all right, quick, our next one is all right, that. And I guess if you do get in bad situations, the quicker you can realise you're in a bad situation and start making those calls is the difference between, because if something does go bad and you haven't, then
So we were looking at which way the current was sort of running, and we said, look, well, if we go down right now, which there was a couple of times where we had to bail pretty fast.
Water in. Water was almost coming in and going out.
If we
with
had
the slosh.
If we had copped one more big wave, we probably might have put us under. And so we were like, well, we're gonna try and swim to that island.
Yeah.
Now, what safety gear did we have, Navarone?
We had a half-empty jerry can, which would have been my floaty. That's about it. Mission.
We were in a bay. We didn't think we were going far, and I think we did completely mess up, and we didn't have the safety gear in. We forgot, we're too excited. And guys, we have not, since this day, done a mission where we don't take safety gear. This was a big eye-opener for us because...
I don't think we even took the safety bag with us. It was
we forgot the safety bag.
We'll just go to those rocks in the bay.
Because we have to empty everything out of the boat to put it up on the roof. We just went, we're just going out here. We just pushed out two little, like 3 rods, and we thought we were just gonna flick for squid in close and whatnot. And anyway, massive lesson learnt. So this is a huge takeaway for you guys. At all times, learn from our mistakes before you make your own. Whether you're on a jet ski, a tinny, a big boat, a small boat, a super yacht, make sure you have the right safety equipment. It is illegal not to, and it's one rule that it's an absolute
Can't
must.
afford not to, yeah.
No, because it can go from the most beautiful place on the planet, Esperance, calm, blue water, white sand, to Nav, which island are we going to swim to if this boat sinks?
Bloody great white sharks down there too. That's what I was thinking about. Can I outswim Matty? It's a small price. Like the price is too much to pay for a mistake.
Oh, it was terrible, and it was that bad we didn't put it in the episode because we actually got back and couldn't believe how stupid we were.
Nearly out of fuel. Like it got to the point because of it got to the point where we were like the fuel was getting low. Anything happens to the fuel, if we lose momentum on this thing, waves are coming over and we're going down.
All right, we've taken the tinny out. Just another couple of Ks. We're probably about 10 Ks or...
Right, before we get into the next one, Navs, we got a pretty big giveaway running this.
More giveaways, of course you do. What is it?
This one, guys, you should know by now, every single dollar that rolls into the Explore Dream community comes back to you guys. Not a single dollar has ever been taken out of this, which is, I know a lot of people think you make $1 squillion. I've made donuts, 0, 0, 0. This is an opportunity for you guys to win epic toys. And you've seen the prizes this month.
Epic prizes.
So guys, we've gone out and got, I don't even know what naming it because we bought them today. By the time you guys are seeing this, it's down the track. But I think it's called the Black Shed.
The Black Shed.
The Black Shed. We've got
so cool.
The Wildtrak Ford Ranger, lifted wheels, clean, simple, neat, the ultimate daily weekender, tow machine, you name it. And the Harley, black on black.
Brand new Harley.
Brand spanking, Breakout, Harley Davidson for you guys. 2 ways, jump over, sign up to the dream. If you remember, every single dollar rolls back into epic prizes. If you shop online, every single item, guys, is an entry. You can look as good as Nav. Check out the new bull hats. Were we matching? We're actually matching. Idiots. I didn't realise we're wearing the same hat in this episode. That's terrible.
Rookie.
So, guys, every item's an entry. Get over there, get shopping, and appreciate all your support on the dream. Let's see what else Nav did wrong. So, the next one, guys, and this is where it's not just in the tinnies, we're stepping it up here to a bigger boat. We're in Lofty's Offshore, the film Invitational. We only had a small window and we were sinking.
So we're learning.
Let's check it out. So to give you an idea of what was going on here, guys, we entered the film Invitational and we wanted to have a red hot go. So we had Lofty's big boat. The weather forecast was looking very average. We were this close to pulling the pin, and of course, when you only have so much time to pull something off, we knew if we got to Stanage Bay, we had protection. We just had to actually get there. And there was meant to be a small gap at the start of the day that was like 20 knots.
And maybe as it is.
Maybe not 25, 30 knots. I think we said if it was under 25, we're gonna have a go. And now this time, we're fully rigged up. We got all the safety gear. We had life jackets within an arm's reach. Lofty's boat is a very, very capable boat that I think was in survey. This thing is built like a brick house. We had the EPIRB at an arm's reach. We checked in with Coast Guard. They said, what size boat are you in? They said, are you sure? They then said, please check in halfway because there's a little island group on the way out. And we're like, yeah, we'll check in when we reach there. And away we went. Now, this is us punching out, and of course, cameras don't quite do things justice. But the problem with Lofty's boat is every wave, see how it's all coming over the sides here? It's a walk around, so all the water comes in and straight down onto the back deck. Now, we were getting absolutely punished, but the boat was doing it easy. It was actually doing it quite comfortably. We're all feeling safe. Now, we checked in at our little checkpoint, and then as we left, Lofty's going, geez, we're heavy. One of the bilges was playing silly buggers a little bit. We thought we'd lost a bilge. So I'm checking the back, and there's a grate at the bottom there, and I thought, oh, well, if, you know...
You'll see the water.
I can see the water, but it didn't come up to the grate level. And I'm like, no, we're good, Lofty, we're good. The other bilge is working. Now, when we rolled in to absolute paradise, and you can see, when we pulled in here, like, glass off, right? Like,
not a wind in sight.
No, it's blowing that easterly. Yeah. And you just have the utmost protection there. But we were sitting so low in the water. We're like, why are we sitting so low? And we opened the back hatch. Now, Lofty has got this ginormous hatch on the back. Probably holds 600 litres. And it was completely full. And what happened was, our second bilge failed. The water didn't come up over the back grate.
It was going straight
It flowed into this second hatch where we had beers and water.
Oh my God.
And then that actually has a pipe that runs to the front of the boat. And so the whole front section of the boat where we've got the fridges countersunk and everything piled up.
Sounds like a design flaw there.
It's a bit of a design flaw. That had filled up. So we had a fridge underwater. We had probably somewhere in the vicinity of like 800, I don't know, 600 litres of water on board. And if we had been continuing to punch...
Bigger boat, bigger the disaster.
We're lucky that that's as far as we're going. It's only 60 Ks. If we had been going the outer reef or somewhere stupid...
You'd be pulling that E-perb out.
We would have ended up sinking that boat too, because if we wanted to turn around at that point and come back or something like that, you would be bailing with buckets. That'd be all we have. But yeah, unfortunately, all that water that come over Lofty Sides runs straight into the bilge, and we were a little bit in shock when we got there. We're like, oh, we were actually sinking.
Like, we're actually sinking. Didn't even know it.
This is not ideal. So obviously, since then, once again, you learn your boat's little mistakes, and you make sure that valve is shut. And now you don't just look at the back section. You pop the hatch to make sure there's no water coming in. So we just wanted to throw that one in to show you that things can go wrong in big boats very quickly as well, not just the small boats. That sort of wraps up the offshore stuff, guys. There's been a few other... Remember the time you threw me out of the boat? We also did another one that's not on the list.
It's not on camera either.
Is it not?
Didn't exist. Yeah.
Tinnies are dangerous, guys. Be very careful. So, let's rip in, because now you all know we suck at boating. Let's just see how bad we are at off-roading. Things don't get a lot better from here, to be honest. To kick it off, guys, broken down, absolute showstopper. Probably the worst fail. It is the worst fail I've ever had on a vehicle, and it's a Land Cruiser. So, check this out.
And carrying a fair bit of weight in the back, and I've clean snapped the diff housing. So a bloke just drove past. Apparently there's a mine site about a couple K up the road. Now, if I can limp this up the road, I reckon they got shitloads of cruisers up there. Right, so what's happened? I'll show you what's happened. Up there. So she's snapped on the housing. It's hanging on by very little.
Fully hit me, hey, boom, in the shoulder.
Absolute stitch up. So this is just before I first met Navsy.
Oh, there you
I was
go.
leaving Alice and I was making my way.
That's when all these things happen, see?
Up the old telegraph. No, the Tanami.
Yeah,
Now,
Tanami,
the Tanami is a very
Great
horrendous road. It is 800 kilometres of straight, teeth-chattering, dash jumping, suspension
Bull dust.
braking, corrugations and bull dust.
Yeah.
And there is nothing along that road, it turns out, except for one gold mine. So, guys, on this day, we had a pretty big day to go, and getting through the bull dust, and I'm pretty much halfway, smack bang in the middle of the Tanami, probably like one of the more remote places you can probably be in Australia,
It's from Halls Creek, it connects Halls Creek down to Alice Springs, so it's just that stretch. Instead of going up north to Catherine, you're just going to head off on that angle northwest.
And there's nothing out there.
They're flat country as far as you can see.
And I think I needed to take a slash, so I was slowing down just a little bit, and I heard a noise that I just hadn't really heard before, and I'm like, that's a strange noise, so I slowed down. And as I slowed down, this noise got worse, and I looked in my side mirror and I could see my tyre was like almost on a 45 degree. So I stopped, got out of the car thinking like, wheel nuts are loose, I've snapped the stud, and I've slowed down just in time, and I got under there. Well, let's watch it real time.
Wow, you are young.
I actually look like I'm balding there. Look at the forehead on that fella. Have a look at the angle of the tyre. So I thought I'd done wheel studs.
God.
And what has actually happened is the rear diff housing has cracked.
Oh, bloody hell.
Under the weight of the vehicle, and I was probably slightly overloaded. Well, to be dead honest, I was very overloaded. I had a GVM, but it wasn't a proper GVM upgrade. I just had heavy duty suspension. This one, guys, the lesson here.
How far up the track were you?
400 kilometres.
400
Smack
Ks.
bang in the middle of the Tanami. So I went with the dodgy bush repair here. A car actually stopped, and it was the only other car I'd seen all day. And he's like, "Oh, you're right, mate." And I said, "Well, no, not really. I'm absolutely stuffed." And he said, "You're not going to believe me, but there's a gold mine 4 kilometres up." And I was like, "Oh, righto." He said they might be able to help you out. They've got a paddock full of Land Cruisers,
all the old things.
Parts.
No way.
And I went, "Well, how good's that?" Bush mechanic to the best I could, just to stop any further flex, just to really hold that wheel where it was. I put it into first gear, took my foot off the clutch, and that was as fast as I went, because I was like, I just want to actually get there. So it took me about an hour or more, or 2
To get 4Ks.
to go 4Ks. Rolled in. They said, "Oh, you can leave your car out front and we'll put you up for the night." I said, "I'm not leaving my car out front."
Don't do that.
Don't leave your car on the side of the road on the Tanami. You might not have one when you get back. So I blued with them enough until they said, "Right, mate, you can bring your car in, park it inside the gate." I said, "Thank you." Look out, that's how fast I'm going. I still got the door open. So I managed to get in, and well, as far as breakdowns goes, it doesn't get any better than this. It was Mexican night, so I was smacking tacos and drinking beers with the boys. It was fly out night.
Oh, of course.
So I'm on the beers, I'm eating tacos, I called a tow truck, and the very next day, a towie, he got up there late.
That's from Alice, or?
Yeah, I can't remember. And I got put up in the fancy donger because the boys were blowing up. They're like, "How come you get the fancy donger? You're here for one night." But the tow truck rolls in the next day. We loaded it up onto the tow truck, sat on the corrugations 400 kilometres all the way back to Alice. I think I've got to give a shout out here to Donnie. I'm pretty sure it was me mate Donnie, Michael Donnan, that rung around for me. It might not have been. It might have been Alex. I'm not going to give Alex credit, even if it was Alex. One of me boys helped me out, and you wouldn't read about it. There was a braced 76 series diff housing sitting in Alice.
Oh.
I'm like, "You're kidding." So I said, "How much?" Absolutely fleeced me. I said, "Done." Rolled in. We got in late that night. I stayed in a hotel. The next morning, the towie met me at this Wreckers. We went in, swapped it out, put the second-hand diff housing in, turned around, bang, gone, and punched 800 Ks again. So I'd already done 800 Ks on corrugations, and I did another 800 Ks on corrugations. But look, guys, here's a little tip for you. The one big takeaway from this one is RACQ Ultimate Cover. They're probably going to stop covering me soon, but I know I've saved a lot of you guys a lot of money. By having that coverage, if you do get stuck, that was about an $8,000 tow.
Yeah.
But because I had RACQ Ultimate, I was covered, and it's classed as a recovery, and I got a free tow. The whole thing was covered, so it cost me nothing. So
that's worth it.
Make sure you've got your RACQ up to date. And the other big takeaway, guys, is I didn't have a proper GVM. It was, and most of you guys out there can probably relate, you've put some extra springs or shocks in, and you think you're good to go. And, you know, this is why the likes of J-Max exist, or D-Wiz. You've got aftermarket diff housings, upgraded axles. At a certain point, once you do go over your car's GVM, you're pretty much playing with fire. Now, if I'd have been doing 100 Ks an hour on those corrugations and that snapped all the way through and the wheel come up and turned and rolled and then brown bread dead. So, once again, we got away with it. We learned our lesson. From then on, I've always had properly built, upgraded GVMs, the right suspension. I had a full J-Max, King shocks, 4.5 ton GVM on my next build. So they're things you learn along the way. Take my advice, don't pay the price, build it right the first time, or build your truck in a way that suits your GVM. I just kept throwing gear on that truck because it was a bitzer. It's a good learning lesson.
As you do, young.
Yeah, young. Yeah. You didn't know any better. Didn't really probably even know what a GVM was. Look at the hairdo. That bloke had no idea.
Just in case there's anyone else out there that doesn't know what a GVM is, just tell the people what a GVM is.
Actually, I'm going to let you tell everyone what a GVM is.
Oh, that's not really my side of the thing.
No, go on. You let them know, Navs.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Jeez,
gross
a bit of
vehicle
dust in
mass.
the- Yeah, gross vehicle mass, if you're
Yeah.
wondering what it is.
Yeah, so there you go. Nav's all over it. So
We win.
I wouldn't have done that.
now, look, guys, everyone makes mistakes, but let's have a bit of fun.
Oh, yes, they definitely do. Guys, let us know some of your biggest fails. Comment below. See if you can beat us.
I'm keen to read them. I'm sure we're not the only ones out there who have made a couple of whoopsies.
Surely cannot be the only ones.
Also, guys, let us know in the comments, would you like to see our top 10 best moments?
Yeah.
You probably don't. You probably want to see more fails. Guys, just for commenting, I'm going to pick a random comment this week, and Nav's going to give you $500 Explore Life voucher. Get commenting and like this episode. If you haven't subscribed, hit the button, turn on the bell. Really appreciate it.
I wouldn't have done that.
This must have been when the Mo come in fashion.
This is where the Mo was in. So on this mission, guys, we wanted to go do some hardcore wheeling. We built the little GU, and mate, this car was actually so clean at this point.
I remember the old GU.
It was epic. So we'd spent the whole, oh God, it was pretty back then. It went to shit so fast, that car. My really good, hectic off-road skills. So the problem was with this vehicle, because it had a compound turbo on it, it wouldn't spool up quickly. So I had to get off I really had to load up and get off to get any sort of
There's some paint.
momentum. So there's our first scratch. Now this was, this isn't even the rollover. This is just leading up to it. So I'd already basically put it against the bank
Oh,
here.
you had Bree as a spotter.
Bree was spotting.
So
Let's
Bree.
blame Bree. Goodness me. And that was my problem, is I couldn't crawl. I couldn't get off, even in low range. I just couldn't crawl. I had to really pop it to get up some of the hard things. Otherwise, if I come off slowly at all, it would just stall.
Yeah.
We since put, after this trip, it got reduction lockers straight in. So here we actually had to winch through this little section just to put me back on flat ground. Last hill of the day. We've done the hard winch and I'm thinking, oh, it's all good. It's all good. I'll drive from here. I've dinted the tray now. At this point, I'm like, get me off this mountain. I'm absolutely done. They're saying, yeah, way you go, pulling the rope in, not winching, and I fell into a little wheel rut.
Oh, whoa.
Actually pretty lucky we didn't go further, to be honest. So not a full rollover, guys, but
Your face.
wouldn't have done that. That's when the old famous wouldn't have done that come from.
Wouldn't have done that. I think I win. 10 points?
Now, luckily, the winch was already out. But,
You're pretty calm. Good on you. Give it to you.
yeah, I was calm. I was like, well, I can't go any further because
Right,
there's the
you're
dirt. I can lick it. But that was the first time I've put a whole car on its side. We're going to call it a... What do you call it? You don't call it...
A lay down?
It's a lay down. It wasn't a full rollover.
Resting stop.
And thankfully, I've never had a full rollover, but you can see, look at the hole that my back wheel fell in. I thought I was out, I was done, and once again, carrying way too much momentum because I couldn't go slow enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, I've wrecked
Just
the car right on the top. Now, I was pretty lucky. The rear roll bar actually, and the front scrubbies pretty much saved me.
Took all the brunt.
Yeah, I didn't actually have that much damage. So takeaways here, guys, is one, you can never get complacent. The second you get complacent on a big hill, you're in trouble.
You're not out until you're out.
We had to do a little bit of winching here, so takeaway number 2 is make sure you've got the right recovery gear, and that'll come into play even more on the next little one where we weren't actually well set up. But this one, we're well set up enough. Everyone had the right gear. We had the right winches, the straps. It was actually a pretty easy recovery, and I got away very unscathed, to be honest, for a layover of that size.
All the roll bars.
Know your vehicle's capabilities. I was out playing with the big guns. Bree can wheel the shit out of a 4-wheel drive. Maybe she can't. She can't stand up, apparently. That was perfect timing.
That was good timing.
But she can wheel, and maybe not spot so good because she didn't she didn't tell me where to go. No, it was 100% my own fault. I was just like, all right, I'm out, let's go. You pull the winch and I'll drive.
Yeah.
And I just got complacent, and it happens. But let's rip into the next one. Now, this was complacency, freak accident, shit happens, all rolled into one. And just
accident.
so, I was being nice. It's being nice. So, look, guys, on this one here, we sent a car off the mountain, and it wasn't the way you were thinking, full driving. Basically,
Not on purpose, like just so it's.
no, not on purpose. Not on purpose. So we just built our camera car it was a full rebuild. We just done a whole series on this thing. New suspension, new wheels, new tyres, new bull bar, spotties, GME, and this was its very first trip out of the shed. We were heading into Sundown where we went, and we...
I know what you're talking about now.
Yep, and we actually told you guys what had happened last time, and we showed a little bit about it. This is a great learning curve for young fellas, old fellas. We're coming down the hill and pulled off. Now, this could happen if you're pulling off to watch a mate come down the hill. This could happen if you've pulled over to check out a lookout, pulled over to spot a mate. Basically, I had 2 camera guys in that car, 3 camera guys in that car actually. The guy driving pulled the handbrake on, turned the car off, and it was a manual, and he left it in neutral.
Yeah, anyone who's got a Land Cruiser or Toyota or...
Yes, now typically in a patrol, the handbrake's pretty good.
Oh yeah, righto.
But never, ever, 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 every time you pull up on a hill, guys, in a manual, make sure it's left in gear. If you want to be extra safe, you can grab a rock. And on very steep hills, I would highly recommend chocking the front of your car, because even in first gear, it can still pop.
Yeah.
Certain gearboxes, if they're loose, can pop. If you have a Toyota handbrake, well, all you've got relying on is that thing holding in gear. So car went off a cliff.
Big jump.
It was about to roll, and the roof line hit a big tree and put it back on all 4 wheels. And this thing just started ploughing through trees. I'm just watching my freshly built car that we couldn't really afford. Like, a camera car is the biggest luxury for us back then. Even now, we don't even have a camera car. And I just watched the new car that we just built just ploughing through trees, and luckily it hit that one big bugger that was still there.
It's still there. We went and that one we did recently at Sundown. Literally, the scars on the tree are still there where you see where you're pointing it out, and the trees that it just ploughed on the way down and then hit that root.
It's down.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
That's where it stopped. Got caught on the root system.
That's a good 50-metre run, man.
It took us,
could have got some speed.
Mate, it took us 4 hours to winch the car. I think we winched it back out over there.
Yeah, the big dog fell, the root system come up, and actually that's what stopped the car.
Lifted the front off, yeah.
Now, what you didn't see is Brody broke his ankle.
Oh, I was going to say, how did he land? That's a big jump.
Yes, and so we had to get him out of there. We made a splint. We put him in the back of one of the cars.
You didn't say that last time.
And we actually kept the episode going. The boys said I had to run an errand or something. I can't remember what we said. Oh, I said I was driving the camera car home on a tow truck. What actually happened was I grabbed the airbag man's car, put Brody in the back seat, and I drove to the nearest hospital. Brods had to go and get an operation. I slept on his floor for an hour, and I turned around.
He proper did it.
And I drove all the way back to Tenterfield, and I rejoined the boys for the rest of the episode. So big shout out to Brody. Please give him a thumbs up. Give this video a like for Brody. He was an absolute trooper. Copped it on the chin, and you know, accidents happen. He shouldn't have climbed up on the roof. The car should have had the handbrake.
I mean, you jump on the top of the roof to tie stuff down, you know?
Yeah. It's just one of those, when things go bad, they can go very bad. So not only did we ride off a car, but we hurt a cameraman, which is not what you want at all. But credit to the boys. Once again, we had all the right gear. We slowed down, we took our time. In any recovery, guys, slow down, take a breath, let that initial adrenaline shock just run off, hey? Because it hits you like a brick,
That's such a big thing to do. You take that breath before you start making stupid decisions. Yeah, in a survival situation, I teach survival for the army, and the first thing we say is teabag, not like you guys do in the gamers.
That's interesting. Okay. You army boys, you got a very interesting.
Pull up. It means to have a cup of tea. Even if you don't have tea, sit down, and things might seem a rush. An extra 30 seconds is not a lot it's plenty of time to take a couple of deep breaths and go, what now? Because if you start making those decisions within that first 30 seconds, that adrenaline that is coursing through you, it's just going to make you do
stupid decisions.
A stupid decision.
If you'd make that decision too quick. Yeah. That was the camera car. That's probably, arguably, our biggest fail, potentially.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Someone got hurt.
Very dangerous.
So that's our biggest mistake we've ever had. Someone got injured, which is the last thing you want, and we rode off a car. Now, let's move on to the next one. All right, guys, on this trip, this was actually such a good trip, eh? That was the disco.
Oh, the disco.
Yeah.
This is where Lofty ate.
So this should have been our first indication that we probably shouldn't have gone down this hill. On this one, guys, we just want to take all the boys out for a rip. Lofty never goes wheeling, he's the fisho. Nav does a lot of touring with us, but not hardcore wheeling. And watching Lofty go down this hill. That was the funniest part of the whole day.
Matty sent him down.
And so that should have been a good indication, eh?
Yeah, that's right there. And I think Lofty and Berkey and myself were like, yeah, not sure here.
Well, we said to Lofty, how's the bottom? And he's like, yeah, nah, looks all good. And should be fine, he says. So we thought, righto, let's go. We've got the proper wheeling cars. We got winches, you know, we got 35s, we're unstoppable. Glasshouse, no one is unstoppable at Glasshouse. There's a hill for everyone that will end you at Glassy. Just naive and just having fun with the boys. Instead of actually researching where to go, this is a pretty known track. We bombed down into...
What did we get, 400 metres? The whole day?
The whole day. Long story short on this one, guys, because it's more of a fun one than a proper fail. Well, it is a fail. We drove down, the cars did it easy, but on the exit, it was...
Easy to get down.
So fast to get down. Real fast to get down. It was so slippery coming out. Well, basically, wheels in the air, max tracks everywhere, and this is where it went wrong, and this is what messed us up, is, one, we had a piece of shit winch. Not going to mention any names.
That was a shocker.
But the winch died on us. So, terrible winch. It's why when we build our touring vehicles, we always use quality gears. This was obviously a budget build.
You rely on it too much. Don't stuff around with that stuff,
There's certain products that you really, really don't want to skip on quality. Now,
I think
look,
I'd given up by this stage.
Yeah, no, I'm out of here. Now, if you're only a weekend warrior, it might be slightly different. We're lucky that this is only at Glasshouse, and worst case, you know, we could have walked out of there and got some help. But the winch failed was problem number one, and we thought, okay, we'll bring the GU up behind it and try and do a double line pull. Someone who worked for us, who shall not be named, didn't spool the winch properly. So, what's the P's?
Yeah. Prior preparation prevents piss poor performance.
There you go.
We did none of those.
So I don't know actually what he was bloody doing, but he didn't set the winch up correctly. So we ended up in a position where we had two vehicles stuck on a hill. One was hanging by the winch and we couldn't release it. We couldn't start. I don't think we could start the car.
It kept cutting. It wouldn't start up, because of the angle or something.
Not enough fuel, so we couldn't start to take the pressure off of it. If the winch was working, we could have pulled ourselves up at least to a flat spot. We would have had a bit of time until the battery ran dead, and we actually had to get saved by a winch truck. So shout out to the Superior boys. They were out there testing in their full winch buggy.
Yeah, whop whop.
Without that, we weren't getting out of there.
That thing just crawled around us like
it was a monster. Four-wheel
nice and easy around us.
Big high mount winch. It was a weapon.
And then towed us up the hill that we were stuck on. That's.
If they weren't there that day, I think we would have got some bush hunting, bush tucker.
A bit of bush tucker, she'd be right.
There was fresh water there.
We just picked the fattest one and then cooked him up and ate him. Survival.
Sorry, Lofty, you would have got eaten.
Lovely drive. Oh, you're right. Stay on that winch. Winch in. Oh,
Is it cooked?
we've just fried a winch.
Righto, so our winch just fried on us, and these guys rock up behind us with an absolute beast of a machine. It's like being back in America again. Oh, look at that. Look at the winch on us. Oh, sorry, do you want me to stand back on there? Sorry, Berkey.
My counterweight.
So we're going to try and winch around, and then, it goes back up.
Which way? Holy f***, you're on the top. I can't see anything.
Yeah,
that was gliding, mate.
If you see where you are.
I can't see anything.
Look at this way. This way.
the navvy.
It's a completely different line to the disco.
We drove the rock.
Yeah, we drove the rock, yeah.
Oh, you drove the rock.
Yeah, that was the
Oh,
plan.
you're
well,
off the
this
rock.
wasn't the plan, but
This wasn't the plan.
I mean, well, obviously the plan was to get up, wasn't it?
I kind of just want to winch our way out, but when there's a big ass truck here that just says, "Oh, I'll pull you up," then well, you're not really going to.
Apparently there's a big rain coming too, he said.
Yeah.
He said if that big rain comes down, we'll be stuck in here.
All right, so it's gone from average to worse to terrible. On this angle, the patrol ran out of fuel instantly almost, which sucks.
down this here, he'll be fine.
I don't know what we're doing.
You are, basically.
I don't even know who I am anymore.
But anyway, guys, that one, shit gear, basically.
Yeah.
Check your gear before you head out. Make sure it's all functional. Make sure it's all working, especially if you know you're going to be tackling some of the hardest terrain in Australia.
We got bogged, but at least we gave it a red hot crack. We tried.
All right, on this one, guys, we went from having terrible products and poor preparation to fully rigged, and this is why we have good gear, good products, and we take all the correct recovery gear with us on a mission. We were flying a drone, just trying to get a lovely little drone shot, and next minute we see a car in the middle of a pond.
Going for a swim.
Going for a swim, no one around, tide rising. We were so confused
No
as to what
outboard
was
motor.
going on. No outboards, no paddles. Look, we just thought we'll try and do the right thing here, and we'll try and help this bloke out. If he's gone to get help, at least by the time he comes back, if the water comes up higher, we might be able to stop the car from getting more wrecked.
This was off Broome, right? Those 11-metre tides out there.
Yeah,
So,
massive tides.
yeah,
And
massive.
so we drove out to give him a bit of a hand here. You'll see we've got the rear winch on the car. I can't tell you how many times we use rear winches, hey?
Yeah.
On the 79, on the Ram.
All the time, yeah.
Towing boats, recovering caravans, pulling yourself backwards out of a bog. So look how much recovery gear we actually have here. We
All of it.
managed to make it
Got it all out.
like 100+ meters to this guy's car. It was unlocked. We got to the recovery position. The car was completely full of water by the time we
No
got
one's
there.
going to come out and steal it.
The problem was we couldn't actually get it into neutral.
Otherwise, because it was...
So this is old mate that
on.
owned the car. He said he didn't want to be on camera, which is fine, but something happened, and even with the key, someone's told us, someone commented
Yeah.
this, there's a special trick or something, but we couldn't get it out of park. All our effort to try and help him, and we weren't going to be able to scull drag a car in park out of this particular area. So we sort of reassessed and then went, look, we're not actually going to be able to help him here. Let's get out of this situation. And well, of course, what did I do? I sunk. And I went down.
That stuff's bad stuff too. That
You've
clay
seen this
stuff.
clay stuff, Navs, eh?
Yeah,
Like,
that's my domain.
look at the tyre, it looks like a V8 slick. There is no way
You're not
we
getting
were
out of
getting
that.
out of there without the right gear. And this is where, last time we didn't have the right gear, this time we've got enough gear to get ourselves out of what should be any situation, and specifically remote destinations. When we plan for a trip, we make sure we've got everything.
Yeah.
From recovery gear, we test our products before we leave. We've got good safety kits. We've got first aid devices.
So there shouldn't be any more dramas from here on out.
We're learning. And that's what this episode is all about, guys, is everyone makes mistakes. We are the definition of all the gear and no idea. And you don't get an idea until you have a go and you learn.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to curve your learning experience.
Yes.
So here we got the max tracks, we've got the shovels, we got the winch. I think we're running a pulley block as well back to another vehicle. We wanted to show you this one because all of a sudden, even on something that looks so simple like a grassy little mud flat, the second you break the wrong crust in the middle of the wrong area,
done.
like this is not a place you,
you
want
can
to get
send
bogged.
things down forever in that jelly type stuff. Just sticks, trees.
Yeah.
Max tracks disappear.
And so not only did we have the right gear, but luckily, you know, the guys we're with had extra gear as well. And that's always important, that on a trip, everybody take your own recovery gear. You never know when you may break off from the crew. You may decide to meet someone later, or you may come across a bloke who isn't prepared and isn't carrying any recovery gear like old mate.
God, that's...
If he had had a set of max tracks
Yeah, he would have been done. Yeah.
and a winch and the amount of gear we did, he would have been able to get out before he ended up in a situation where his whole car was completely buried.
Yeah.
That's just once again, guys, a bit of a learning curve.
So, a bit shaken up.
The next one was something I never thought could happen to me. We lit the car on fire, essentially. Let's check it out. All right, guys, now this one here, we talk about the 5 or 6 Ps. We were pretty well equipped for this trip, and there's one bit of equipment we left at home that I reckon 95% of people probably don't have in their four-wheel drives. And I'm glad we're bringing this up again because it's been a while since we've probably raised it. You must have a fire extinguisher in your four-wheel drive at all times. You should also have one in your boat, and you should have one in your caravan. Electrical fires are no joke, and they can happen for the silliest of reasons.
Especially with the amount of electronics that things have today.
Yeah. Everyone's running huge 12-volt systems, lots of power, lots of cables that running everywhere, outlets everywhere, inverters, 240-volt setups. Now, a lot of them these days are a lot better than what they used to be because the 12-volt sector's come absolute leaps and bounds from where it was sort of 15 years ago. But back then it was all predominantly home jobs, and there's still a lot of home jobs. I bet you there's still a lot of young fellas building their first 4B, buy a couple of components, they're trying to save a couple of bucks and they wire it in themselves. Now, it only takes something as simple as, you know, a fuse being in the wrong location or...
A bit of corrugation.
A bit of corrugation rubs a box on the back of your car that connects two terminals that should never have touched together, or pulls a wire. There's an array of things that could have gone wrong. In this particular circumstance, Lane's car itself, and we were like, all right, the 80's gone, but we still wanted to bring his bed. The Trackabout was also our kitchen for the whole trip. So what we did, Nabsy, was we put it on the back of my car, and I had a solar feed where you could have plugged a panel in and fed back into the batteries. We disconnected that and we hooked it up a 12-volt outlet so that I could actually run power from my car back into the camper trailer. Now, it was okay, except for the fact that it wasn't fused. And being under, the cable thickness was too small, I think is what happened here. And thank goodness I actually had a pretty reasonable 12-volt system. I had a Manager 30, and luckily I'd mounted that. Typically these mount in the back of the car. I mounted it in my roof console, I believe, and it's come up high voltage, high voltage, high voltage, and I'm slowed down to be like, what's this high voltage? Like, I've never had this before. And we could just smell a little bit of smoke. And as soon as we smelt smoke, we're like, something's wrong.
That smell too, the smell of...
Luckily, Berkey was actually quick thinking and composed in this circumstance. I was probably far less composed. My brain...
Fire incites panic, full stop.
Panic. So I went to... I need water, put a fire out, and Berkey's like, no, we need to eliminate the current. We need to get the cables off the battery. So
good job, Berkey.
I said, you do that. So Berkey's ripped the cables off. By this stage, the wires had got so hot that they'd melted through the pigtail. The pigtail caught fire. It then caught fire to the carpet in the back of the car and other cables. Our whole back seat was loaded with gear. I'm just launching things out the back of my car, left, right, and centre, and I'm just inhaling this electrical smoke. I can still taste it. It's thick.
Hey.
And so I'm just breathing in this electrical smoke. Berkey had all the cables off, and we're like, okay, there's no power. But by this stage, the carpet, the carpet caught fire. So the carpet's on fire, the timber's starting to burn, and all the pigtail plastic was on fire. So now I've got a 20-litre drum. And this is all I had. And I've unloaded this 20-litre drum over the top of all the battery, everything. I didn't care. I'm just like, put this fire out.
Save the car.
Managed to put the fire out inside the car, thinking I'm having a win. The boys were ready to pull me out of the car because I was just like coughing, spluttering, just inhaling smoke because I'm like, I'm not losing the fucking car. And I'll rip the cables out barehanded if I have to. Like, I wasn't letting the car burn to the ground.
Mate. Even when you're talking there, mate, you look like you're still on adrenaline, high on adrenaline there.
Pumping on adrenaline. If the boys had pulled me off when they said, get out, there's too much electrical smoke, like, we would have just stood there on the side of the road and just watched the car just go up in
Whereabouts
flames.
was this?
In the middle of nowhere.
We know where that is. Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We were on the way up to Lorella Springs, so we were like punching up towards Savannah Way.
Yeah.
So very remote.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
So take it from me, who nearly lost a vehicle. Make sure you have a fire extinguisher in the car. If I go and look in my Ram, I've probably got a fire striker behind the seat or in the canopy. I used to run one in the canopy and one behind the seat. Go out this week, buy yourself a little fire extinguisher, throw one in your boat, throw one in your car, throw one in your caravan, because on the off chance that something goes wrong, you want a fire extinguisher handy.
Fires take everything.
They take everything, and then you got to blue with insurance companies and who touched the wiring and whose fault is it, and you've just lost a $200,000 car or caravan.
It ain't easy being greasy.
So all in all, guys, I hope you learned from our mistakes.
hopefully.
And look, I'm looking forward to sitting down in 10 years' time, where Nav's even balder, I'm even greyer.
Take it easy.
And we can show you 10 more mistakes that we're definitely going to make.
Didn't do.
If you have enjoyed, guys, hit that like button, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Till then, get out and enjoy the Explore life. Just make sure you take all the safety gear with you. Thanks for coming, Navs. Oh, that was a good trip down memory lane.
That was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, good.
God, I feel old after that.
I'm feeling very old.